And the break is done. Welcome to Roll20.
Welcome back to the weird, everybody.
Yes.
So, sometime later, you're heading northwest. You've left the zone of strange. The maelstrom has released its grasp on you, at least temporarily. And you're in the boat, and you're on your way to Jericho's beach. It's probably only like an hour or so out. What's everybody doing? Heavy sigh.
Yeah. I am
recovering,
taking stock of all of my valuables, which is all my weapons, and making sure.
Did you give Smith July his sword back?
Totally, yeah.
Let's play that out. I want to see what that goes like.
Sure.
So
do we just appear? Is that, or are we transitioned,
I think,
right?
Yeah, we like our view of the characters has jumped ahead, but yeah, no, you like went down the building and found your way back to the boat, got on the boat.
Right.
So I think for me, like, I have such a high regard for for my weapons that, like, the reason I stored it was because I would be so devastated if I lost anything that I have on me. So when we're back, I probably would, like, take a moment and go to Smith July and just kind of pull it out and say, I saved this for you. And just kind of hand it back.
I reach out with my approximation of Navarre's admiration of weapons. Like I want to play in this.
It's a total
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna drop this.
Right, and I take it from her and resheath it. Thanks for holding it for me. And I do it with like a fluidity that is like I've said before. I can look flashy with this thing, or I can be good with it, but like I can't do both of those things. But this is definitely a flashy moment.
Does the way that Smith July handles the sword give you any insight into him, Navarre? Like, is that a thing you would pick up on, like watching someone fight?
Similar to the cigarette thing. Like it's I'm handing you your items back to that enforce yourself, and I also like kind of try to make sure that our hands touch a little bit.
Oh yeah, they do. They definitely do.
Yeah. Just so I can keep that. Because I don't I'm not an ass about how I feel about you. It's more just I take my little secret moments. Because I'm not trying to start a relationship in this world. I'm just trying to enjoy.
A direct look in the eyes, and I say, "You're good, right?"
I nod, and then I internally get a little flutter.
I nod and like step away, and like I knew you would be, but I needed to hear it.
Yeah.
So
I'm good. We had a moment.
Cool. Okay. Right. It's good. So how about Gritch and Frankie? How's that going?
Whoa. Can anyone hear that?
I can hear that. It seems like it would be.
Oh, what happened? What?
I think we're okay. We good? All right.
Okay.
So Gritch.
Maelstrom.
The maelstrom for you.
So Frankie's driving the boat, obviously.
Yeah, she's like focusing on something she can control right now. She's at the wheel. Like not everything on the boat works. It's not like we have a GPS or something. So she's like locked the light, so it's pointed out, illuminating the water in front of the boat. And she's like kind of dead reckoning. And this area is small enough where you can kind of do that more or less towards Jericho's place. But she's about quarter speed, just not in a huge hurry now. I don't even know why we're going there at this point.
Do we have Tao's body with us?
I guess
that's another question. So yeah, I mean, I guess you're headed in that direction, but maybe now it occurs to you, like, wait a second, like.
I'm just driving to drive.
Yeah. Jericho's Hold is a place that you could go and like rest and not like have to just float around on the boat anymore. It's the closest place other than Mercer's Enclave, which I assume you don't want to go back to. But yeah, did you bring Tao's body with you? Or
I feel like this scene would be like I'm holding Gritch over one shoulder and I throw Tao over the other, and we walk back down to the boat. Because I wouldn't leave her body there for sure. Especially because we're on a mission, so we have to fulfill our mission somehow by at least letting whomever know, what happened.
What's burial like here? Like, what are funeral rites like?
Yeah, what happens when someone dies?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's wrapping and weighting them with weights, and they sink down into the past below the water.
Yeah. Well, and remember too that I think memorial would be a thing that people would do physically. So even if you put the body in the water, there would have to be somewhere, like every hold has its own way of doing this, but because there is a chance you'll just forget that person ever existed.
Yeah, right.
So maybe depending on where you are, there might actually be writing on the wall or plaques or something.
Is there a special place in the boat for Navare's art that is for people we've lost who we don't hate? Not just oh yeah, we killed those 12 people, but over on this wall, it's a memorial and less just oh, this event happened.
There's probably some sort of a small square of, because we we don't want to take up a lot of real estate because it doesn't help us remember, but just a small square and a name and a symbol to help us remember what it is. Do we like Tao though? I thought she was evil to Gritch. Depends on who you ask.
That was going to be my follow-up too, where you're people we don't hate. I'm so.
Yeah. Smith, I think Smith is pushing. If we can rewind to that scene of us taking the sword, I think Smith is now that we've talked about this, Smith specifically asks you to. Can you add Tao's name to the memorial? Yeah. I need to remember what happened here.
The hypnotize thing? Can I use that, or I would just do it for you, honestly. So
I think if you do a thing I want, you still spend a hold. So you get okay. My hold on you becomes a little less. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I would definitely do that. I do it, but I write her name and I draw a symbol, but then I do something that indicates Gritch's feelings. So I draw a little horns on her head or something. A question mark?
The aura of weird.
Yeah.
Well, so who else is on this wall of people that you've lost?
Well, we had a little weird, not weird. We had a little guy that I think was helping me with some ammo stuff, and I accidentally blew him up once.
Oh.
But it wasn't my fault. I mean, it was kind of my fault, but it was
Are you Don Draper? Is that what happened?
No.
Is this the real Navarre?
we were practicing at that spot we talked about before, where you can tell I blow up things, and he just got in the wrong place. So his name was Dell.
Dell? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's the little bit of guilt that twinges inside me sometimes. But I also think, he knew what he was doing by being with me and hanging with me and helping me blow stuff up.
He was I'm picturing an old man who knew how to make grenades and stuff. He was able to jury rig or manufacture.
Yeah, he totally was a technician of sorts, and definitely knew the risks of being involved.
Cool. So I imagine Dell worked on the boat a bit too, right? Helped fix it when there was damage. Yeah. He knew engines or something. Okay.
Yeah, he helped me weld together that armor too, a little.
Cool.
Just a
that was recent enough that you still. It's not just the drawing. You actually remember him.
Yeah.
Or we all yeah.
Yeah, but then there's also names that we don't know on there. There's there's a.
That would be so creepy and upsetting to be I know I'm supposed to remember this person because they mattered enough to me to put them on the wall, but for the life of me, no feelings, no it's just yep.
There's at least 4
Arizona,
Scott, Joanne, a little flower, a little star, and
it's the name makes you feel sad, but you don't have any specific recollection of why or who that person was.
Well, how do you live with the thought that might be your kid or something?
Yeah, I don't think about it that way ever. So for me, it's those little guilt feelings pop in, and I just go, must have been casualty of war or whatever. And
put them in a grenade and shoot them at your enemies.
Yep.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. All of my emotions go out through my
you just externalize that.
So So sorry, we rewound a bit. Where are we at in terms of like scenes and stuff?
I mean, wherever we want to be, right? Like,
Okay.
I think the terminus on the timeline is the moment where you realize, wait a second, where are we going and why?
Okay, so before that, I think like right as we're leaving and like this whole conversation is happening between the other two, like, and Frankie is like really focused on driving and just like getting out of there or whatever. Like I'm in the cabin as well, and maybe she's not paying attention to me because it sounded like you were describing her being very like head down, very focused.
Yeah, she's just like trying to do something that she knows how it works. She knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and so I'm like scrutinizing you very closely. I would like to, if I could, just get like a read on Frankie.
Yeah. Are you going to interfere, Frankie? Are you trying not to be read?
No, I think I'll help actually.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not really doing anything to help except by being distracted and
It's being really obvious.
Right, you're distracted.
vulnerable.
Obvious. I feel. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Help.
Oh, it does not go well for you. Okay. So I think let's flip it around. So Frankie, why don't you ask? You get a free 7 to 9 read on Gritch instead.
Okay. Yeah.
Gritch is being really obvious about like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with you.
Yeah, it's revealing something about my motivations that I'm up here scrutinizing you. Like it's totally out of character.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
So you think I'm not paying any attention to you, and you're like creepily watching me, or maybe not so creepily, but yeah, maybe.
Like I look concerned.
Yeah.
Probably.
So you're like out of my peripheral vision, but as I don't turn to face you or anything. I just say into the room, like, do you want to tell me what the fuck that was all about?
And I kind of like pause for a moment because I figured, yeah, you weren't paying attention. Just, it's I mean, Smith's the one you need to be talking to.
Myth is the one I should be talking to. You didn't have anything to do with that?
I had things well in hand until he went and pulled us into that. But
all right, now I'll ask my question. Are you telling the truth?
So Gritch definitely knows that Smith did some shit. And like feels like what Smith did was really foolish and bad. Gritch probably didn't really have a good handle on things though. Like that's definitely arrogance talking. About Gritch being like, oh yeah, like the whole psychic maelstrom, whatever, I had it under control, it was all good. But then that like definitely feels deeply like hurt and upset that Smith did that thing, whatever that was. Like really Gritch is like really pissed off about that.
Yeah, Gritch doesn't like it when people do like weird mind stuff without their consent. Weird.
Yeah, well,
interesting. Okay, so I don't get the impression that you're lying to me. But
more than I'm lying to myself.
Yeah.
When I say that like I had things under control, that is a lie I am telling myself.
Okay.
When I say that Smith did some shit and fucked up, that is the truth.
You're telling the truth about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And maybe I think maybe Gritch keeps talking, so I'm just like,
yeah.
Well, before Smith got in the way, and before someone shot Tao. Anyways, before that happened, I went down there to try to help quiet things down, and that girl was sick. She was very sick, and now I am, for one, but I think I can fix it. I think.
She actually looks over her shoulder at you and is like, you're sick. What do you mean?
She Now, I want you to keep in mind that you are very safe right now when I explain this. Because the vector of infection is very specific. But she was trying to infect people with this. It's not just a psychic thing, it's an actual physical thing as well. And it's somehow connected to that nothing fellow that she's so fixated upon.
Are you talking about her in the present tense on purpose, or?
Yeah, like I'm not really like acknowledging that she's dead exactly.
Yeah.
And or that she's probably still dangerous. At least is what I'm getting at. So I think I'll say this is when I told you she was trouble. This is what I meant, and I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but now I know. Since we wandered into that whole thing, you drove us there, following whatever it was you thought you saw. But I think that I can fix it.
The sickness that you have now.
Yes.
Right.
I'll need access to her body. I'll need you to keep Smith out of the way, because he's all sentimental about it.
A phrase that literally no one should ever need to say. Ever. I'll need
Really
access to the body.
Not a cool phrase.
It would have been more helpful if she were still alive, but I think I can make do.
Right. With the sickness.
Are you going to cure it?
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Good. Very good. And I just walk off. I got shit to do.
Okay.
There's so much awkward tension. It's awesome.
Yeah. So Adam, I know Jericho has tried to recruit Navarre in the past.
Yeah.
Is he? Do we know anything about his relationship to weird stuff? Is that not part of his story?
I don't know. Like all we really know is that he used to be part of the raiders that live in the like Western Islands. There's some like further isolated islands, a couple hours off the area where you guys are. And he just got too old for that shit and he quit. But he's not like, you've never heard that he has like a pet brainer or like, you know, he seems to be a pretty like down to earth dude.
Okay.
He has, as far as you know, he doesn't have any opinion on it one way or another. It would affect, I mean, he's all about his own safety. So that's how he would determine whether it was something he wanted to like deal with or not.
Yeah. That's what's kind of going through her mind right now. Like, we were going there to try to offload this problem, but instead, like, it erupted and it was taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Frankie is... I think she needs to talk to Smith. So for now, she just doesn't... I was gonna change course, but she doesn't. She keeps going again, like slow and deliberate. So she has time to think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, before I do anything super rash, I think I would talk to Smith. So I'll hold off on making a decision until that happens.
Okay. So I guess then, like, Gritch leaves the cabin, leaves the bridge, and then you do too, but go a different direction.
No, I think I'll stay up here, but maybe I'll call Smith up to
Sure.
talk.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so Gritch, where do you go after you leave Frankie?
I
mean, you did just say I'm gonna go fix this.
Yeah, so I go find the body.
Okay. Navari, where's Tao's body?
Assuming that Frankie's room's still all bloody, it's probably in there. If the room's clean, it's somewhere else.
No, I think the room's still got blood.
Okay, yeah, then I would put it in there.
Yeah, and that's perfect because that's where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
It's not my room
anymore.
anymore.
A scene of me dragging a corpse across the ship.
No, the scene was you sobbing on my shoulder. I set you down in a nice corner, and then I kind of.
Did you do anything? Like, is she interred in a funereal sort of sense? Like, did you put a blanket over her, or is she just like?
So I'm super strong. So it was more like I don't want to like touch any of this stuff. So I got as close to the door as possible, and then I just like, when you throw a cat on the bed.
Yeah.
And just kind of like,
right,
I'm a good shot. So it's like I didn't like throw her against the wall or anything. It was as respectful as Navari can be.
Yeah. I mean, you're not good at punching people gently, but I think you could toss her into the room without throwing her against the wall and having her blow up.
Yeah.
I respectfully throw the corpse.
Yes.
I toss her gently, but in a disgusting way.
Yeah.
Like throwing a bag of garbage, but it's like sentimental garbage. So that's what you walk in on, Gritch. The body is like on the bed, but sprawled that way, like kind of rolled over one side. Her skin is like pale, like all like drained of blood. And the room is like much like it was when you were here before. Broken glass, and now I was gonna say dried blood, but it would take a really long time because everywhere is damp.
It doesn't dry up.
Like sort of congealed blood, kind of splattered around.
Beautiful. So I think I kind of get her arranged on the bed in a more like laying down on her back kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming she hasn't like gone stiff yet. And I like pull up a chair or something, and I like wipe it down with my hanky or whatever, and like make a little spot for myself to sit and not get covered in grossness.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use my new move that I just picked up. So I took Things Speak, which is a savvy head move.
Oh yeah.
And it says whenever you handle or examine something interesting, roll plus weird. On a hit, you can ask the MC questions. On a 10 plus 3, on a 7 to 9, 1. And it's stuff like who handled this last before me, who made this, what strong emotions have been recently nearby it, what words have been said most recently near it, what was done most recently with this or to this, and what's wrong with this and how might I fix it.
Okay.
And treating a miss as though I've opened my brain to the maelstrom and missed that roll.
Okay, cool.
Works.
So Tao's body's a thing now?
Well, so I was going to put this up to you, like either I'm using it on her body as a thing or I'm using it on the like infection, and her body is just my means.
Oh, the infection is very much like a living arm of the maelstrom. I don't think it's not a
thing that I can examine.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I'll still use my cool new move on her corpse.
Yeah, her body is definitely a thing.
All right, so I get one question.
What would you like to know?
Well, I want to ask what's wrong with this and how might I fix it, and because I'm not referring to her being dead.
Right. I wish that you were, though. How can I fix her deadness? Well,
but yeah, like she is infected with this thing. Like, how can I fix that?
Well, you're reading her body, and what are you asking? You're asking
what's wrong with this and how might I fix it?
Okay, well, I mean, I know, like, the deadpan fuck you answer is she's dead and find a way to bring her back to life.
That's not
But that's not the question you're really asking, I think. The answer to the question you're really asking is nothing is wrong with it. because the
Nothing.
the infection is gone, right? It's not in the dead body anymore. Like you wouldn't want to like eat of her flesh, but like because it's this dual natured illness, it can't exist without a human mind to sustain it. So that part of it is like has basically starved to death.
All right, so I'm like reading this. I'm like, okay, cool. So this isn't helpful. And
It's an inert, it's an inert object now.
And so I know I'm infected.
Yes.
So I'm just like reach into my little thing, knock back some drugs, have a little meditation session, and I'm gonna try to use it on like myself.
So you're a thing now?
Yeah, I'm the thing now. Become the object of my own study, if I may.
Okay, yeah. I think if you were just like, no, I'm a thing and I can do this, then maybe we'd have to have a conversation about it. But I guess like you have fictionally positioned yourself that you see yourself as an object of experimentation. So sure, yeah, why not?
And like I'm happy for that to involve like consequences for me that I'm treating myself this way. Like that's totally fine. I feel like it's a pretty self-destructive behavior. So
okay,
rolling the dice. I got one question.
All right.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
I don't know, man. What is wrong with you? Like, I feel like you're in a better position to tell me that. I'll offer my insight, but I mean, do you know the answer going in? Like, is this one of these like confirmation things, or are you like being more diagnostic and are like, in what ways am I infected?
Yeah, and also like, how can I fix it is part of the question, or how might I fix it? So. It's to be like, okay, like I know I'm sick.
Sure.
Like,
and how does this work for you? Like how do you get this information?
So part of it might be me like putting the lens to myself and just like looking at my own because like when I go into people's minds, I get like, you know, a sense of things, like a rudimentary sort of topography of it or whatever. So looking at that and seeing if anything has changed. But also I'm probably like testing my own like memory. Like I'm trying to see how much stuff I can remember and if that like feels complete or incomplete, and like generally like doing like an inventory, I guess, of my own like sanity.
All right. So I think that it's kind of expressed to you when you look at the topography of your ontology. So how you exist and like how that feels to you, looking for like probing for like errors or problems, kind of poking at stuff and being like, does it hurt when I do this? Does it hurt when I do this? Everything from basically like when you just were on the beach, like at the Point Hotel, like on the boat and everything with everybody else, everything from that forward has one sort of texture, and that texture is very like real. Like it feels very much like touching the bark of a tree or like touching the railing of the ship. There's a sense of sort of rightness to it. But everything you remember from that point back, so like being in the weird with Twice, swimming in the water, being on the boat, getting shot, all of that stuff, shooting Mercer. Before that, all of that has a sort of like plasticky feel to it. It doesn't mesh with the more recent stuff that you can remember.
So like it's kind of being eroded or like compromised a little bit.
It feels like pretty solid. Like you have a good hold on it, but it doesn't feel as real. It feels like the memory of, and I describe like childhood memories this way sometimes. You can't tell if you're remembering a thing that happened to you or you're remembering seeing a picture of a thing that happened to you, right?
So
you know, like
it's almost like I feel like I'm more like malleable.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, like you just have this sense that like those memories, like you're like, yeah, did that actually happen to me, or did someone tell me about that happening to me?
Yeah, so there's like this subversion of
yeah. And as far as your new like illness goes, you know, you can feel it, but not in the same way as before. Like it was aggressively like attacking you in some way, but now it feels like you can feel it like almost like wrapped around your organs, just kind of like waiting dormantly. It's like in your cells, but it's not attacking you.
But do I have any idea of how I might fix it?
I mean, you're gonna need help, right? Like, there is a reason that nothing, like Tau is so important to nothing, and that would be the place I would start looking if I were you.
Okay.
And by I mean the Maelstrom wants you to go find nothing and talk to him.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
And then
And
since
that's
I
it,
got
right?
another question,
Oh, you get one more? Okay.
I'm going to ask, who made this?
And you're referring to yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, I think this is like you've gone from the analytical like self thing, and you like sort of find a door there that when you open it, it leads right into your like rusty mind palace.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a table like I don't know, maybe it's the conference table from the room you're in before, or it's the conference table plus the like laminate layering of Smith July's table. And you're lying on it, but you're like missing some stuff. Like your chest is opened up, and you can see that it's hollow. And it's not like a butcher's shop. Like there's not like blood and like that everywhere. It's just you're just like opened up. Your eyes are closed. Maybe one of your arms is missing, and there's like the ragged bone kind of sticking out from the end. And somewhere in the back of the room, you feel that like Minotaur presence. And when you look in that direction, you can see like a bookshelf or like a rack of shelves with like arms and legs and various like parts. And you can feel like you can't get a clear look at it, and maybe you're too afraid to look directly at it. But in your periphery, you see the Minotaur shape like picking out a new arm for you, like selecting it from the rack.
And I think I say like, "Oh, it's you," and like maybe I say it out loud as well if someone wants to like be in my scene. But that's definitely like where this little bit ends.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think maybe you say it, but the mouth of the body on the table is what moves.
Yeah, cool. Ugh.
Cool. So, Frankie, you call for Smith July?
Yeah, I don't think our ship comm works, so I just like...
No, I think I'm just like on that deck still. I'm just looking at
The ship comm, you mean you shouting?
Yeah, I kind of call out. Or maybe I just whistle, and like when you look up, I like give you the like come in here.
I nod and head out. What's up, Captain?
Maybe are you around too, Navari?
Oh yeah, I'm. All right, I'm not muted. Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Can you be like involved in this too?
I'm totally there. I'm definitely just like again, like I'm restocking ammo and making sure my stuff's fine and just doing whatever you need. So I'm around for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be good if you were like nearby and involved in this talk as well. Mm-hmm. I ratchet down the speed again and kind of take a look out and turn the wheel slightly so we have an open path for a bit, so I don't have to do anything. Kind of turn around in the swivel, the little driver's chair.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
You don't say?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but Gritch tells me that Tao is sick, and now he's sick with whatever she had. And now he's telling me that he can fix it.
Sick how?
I like vaguely gesture at Navari's wall of weird drawings with the neat, clean metal plate that replaced what happened to us recently in the blank spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like sick Gritch is gonna die sick, like sick Gritch is contagious sick. All right. What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing?
I thought you knew. You're the captain of this here boat. I come along, I sing some songs, I make sure everyone's happy.
I used to know what we did. we made deliveries. We helped people out when they needed us, and now we're having weird visions and getting lost in strange places.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how to live in that world, and I don't think Rich does either.
All right.
And honestly,
maybe we're done. Maybe we go to Jericho, we dock the boat, we drop anchor, we settle in a little bit.
Do we really want to bring Gritch to a city where we barely have any survivors in this world and he's sick?
I love that the circumstances have changed now that it's Gritch, because that's exactly what you're going to do with Tal.
We didn't know she was sick before, though, right?
No.
It's been sort of semi-clear.
But also, we were like going to drop Cal there and bounce. We weren't
and bounce. So the question there isn't so much, do we want to leave Gritch with...
Right.
But do we want to leave Gritch with the people we're going to be staying with?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we just need to find out if he's contagious somehow.
And what it is.
And what it
also,
do we, though?
I love Gritch. Gritch has a place in my heart. But are we sure Tal was sick? Is another thing Gritch saw in the ether?
I don't know. That's what he said. But no, we don't know.
I don't like any of it.
I don't either. I want it off the boat. I want to be rid of it.
Yeah. We got to bury Tao, and we got to. I think we go to Jericho's. We lay low for a little bit. I collect a couple paychecks. We get our breath back. We duck out of Mercer, and we get Gritch away from us. Just for a while.
I don't think we should make port anywhere while this is still going on.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, Jericho's got like 8 people or something?
Yeah, last time you were there.
Which is a pretty big group.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know how Frankie would put it exactly. But basically she says that's 8 more people that we're putting in the path of this thing. Who knows what it is? I mean, yeah. I guess she says it. She says just into the room without like it being an order or a plan. She just says, kind of dead, like, we just got to get rid of this.
I think I want to try and manipulate them into at least letting me question Gritch. Because I'm not afraid of whatever's wrong with him. I already went in that room. Nothing. But, like, I don't know if I really like the idea of, like, throwing him away. So I would like
I don't
to
either,
try.
But I feel like it had to be said, and so I just kind of said it, but I don't really want to.
Frankie felt super guilty in the saying of that. It was
Cool.
So, yeah, you want to try to manipulate us, so we'll let you go down into the blood room where Gritch is and hang out with him.
And just to find out more.
I think you will need to manipulate Frankie, for sure. She will not be in favor of that plan.
And that's that hot one, right?
Yeah.
It's normally hot unless you have a substitution. I don't think you do, though.
I don't. No. I'm probably not going to get this because I have -2.
Oof. Oof. That's all right.
So you don't have to make the choice, Frankie. You can. There's no fire. There's no experience to be gained here. But I think that like Navarre, when you say that, like let me go and like look at him or talk to him. There's a moment of quiet in the cabin before anybody responds, and all you can hear is like rain hitting the window outside. So somehow while you're like, having this conversation, it started to rain, and you can hear the rain like pattering against the window.
Adam, can I turn that move around and offer Navarre XP to do what I say instead?
Yeah, totally.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, like when you start to say that, and I put on my captain voice and I say, no, that's not going to happen.
And I totally listen.
Oh, okay, cool.
I would. Like I was feeling like grief and guilt for Gritch and wanting to help, but again, like I've been following you this whole time, so
Okay.
I don't really know what's going on, and I don't get the weird a lot, so I'm making rash decisions, but I understand the severity of the tone of the captain voice.
So,
I like it. I like how
Mark
susceptible.
XP.
You get XP for that.
Yeah, you do what I. It's a reverse.
What are you asking Navari to do?
I'm asking her to not go down and talk to Grit, and also like just stay with me. Like just like don't do the rash chain of things you were thinking about. Just
You're calling on her to remember where her loyalties lie.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, the other thing too is like I was gonna say it's great how susceptible to like the Nuremberg defense Navarre is. Like Frankie's
Totally.
just saying like this isn't your responsibility anymore. This is kind of an order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, like it's rare that I would even step outside of my care box to like put the effort into thinking about
Right.
Gritch. So
it's so sad too because you start coming out of the box.
Not just Gritch though, everyone. Like it's not just them, but like it's rare that I would come out of the box and like put that forethought into human emotion. But when I hear it, I can easily step back into okay.
And as soon as you try to be a person, Frank's
Get back in the
just
box.
Remember the robot.
The chain leash gets snapped tight.
Okay, now. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Navari.
No. I was just gonna say, but this in my head is the right thing because emotionally, this is how I have to live in this world to be able to continue to be the person I have to be. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah.
So I
and
guess-
that's kind of why you're with us, right? In a way,
Totally.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
I was doing it alone, and I was having a hard time maybe like continuing to not. But when when I don't have to focus on myself at all, and I have to focus on taking care of another team, then it's just a blow up, protect.
I love how like complex Navarre is in that way. Like Frankie, is that a thing that you're aware of that like Navarre wants to be the gun, right? Not the hand on the trigger. Like
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Cool.
And in some ways, that's why I didn't go by Mercer's because I know that kind of opportunity, a missed opportunity, or like feeling like she could have done something and didn't. I didn't want to put her in that position. I wanted to just be like, we're not even going there. So like you're not in a position to feel like you should have started blowing up Mercer's people in our best interests. Right. It was like we just skirted the issue there and paid for it as a result. So I'm reevaluating that choice. But Andrew, I think I have a plan now. So we've talked about like how we like to game and what we're willing to do as players. So I don't think this is going to be a problem for you at all. Frankie goes over and she locks the door to the bridge. It's
with us in it or with
just Gritch in it.
With it's just the three of us inside.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And, like lock it so nobody else can come in. And I guess we're having a conversation here. So
yeah, we're talking.
I lock it. I turn back and I say, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Gritch does. He says he can fix things. So, Adam, I mention a place somewhere in this area where we might know, like a place where I could drop someone off that wouldn't be a death sentence.
Well, there's like there's an old survivor enclave down the way that is actually abandoned because everybody was killed by something.
Cool. You want to show me on the map where that's at?
Sure.
Perfect.
Are we at that green X?
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's probably like on this little lump.
Okay, cool. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely can make
And
it there.
we know that the Jericho place, they get supplies from there sometimes, but they have to be careful because nobody really knows why everyone disappeared.
It's like an abandoned holding that some people had. And they all died or vanished or something.
Left or whatever. Yeah.
So there's shelter there. There's maybe some food there left over. Okay, that's perfect. So yeah, that's the plan I propose. If Rich says he can fix it, we'll come back and pick him up once it's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not happening here. It's not happening on the boat anymore.
Smith or Navari, do either of you want to, like, while Frankie's got her captain hat on and you're all like quiet, like, you got a pretty long opportunity to, like, read her if you want.
Yeah, let me that's a yes. I definitely want to read her here because I am curious about how much of this is like, oh, okay, Frankie's figured this out. Like I said, oh, you're the one who decides this stuff. Or is this like a fear reaction? Is this like scrambling up against the wall, scared and like not sure? So yeah, I will do read a person.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I would just.
Right.
I've already accepted the answer from before. Yeah, exactly. We're good. Nice.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
And so read a person is one question, right? With 7 to 9.
Yeah.
I could interfere you into a fail, but I don't think I do. I don't think no, I'm not in the interfering mood right now.
You're focused.
Yeah.
I just want to know what Frankie's really feeling.
She is really feeling two things. One, total confusion about what is really going on, and feels like she's letting everyone down because she can't make a good choice. But she's also feeling like behind that it's not just doubt in the moment of I don't understand this, so I can't give the right order. She also has this deeper doubt from what you experienced with her before, seeing the past through the beam of the boat and stuff. Like this thing is potentially really appealing, and maybe there's something here that's worthwhile, and maybe it's not all bad, and maybe if we just had the guts to stick with it, we would find something great. But she's not letting herself feel that. It's more like survival mode right now. Like, this has all been a bunch of bullshit, and it's only going to get worse, and I gotta solve this problem. But you can sense.
Okay.
She doesn't feel good about it, you know. It's
I kind of step closer after. So Frankie goes and locks the door and turns around to say that we want to drop Gritch off at this place.
Gonna cut him loose. Yeah. Yep.
And I put a hand on Frankie's shoulder and I say, "Listen, Captain, Frankie, you know I'm with you on this. You know I'll be here. And if that's the choice you want to make, that's the choice we got to make. I think it's best for us. I really do. But I see you. And I see you looking out there and thinking, it'd be mighty fine to go for a swim. We can't have you swimming right now. We need your boots dry. And you got them dry. Yeah. You got this. We're all right. Take some time and we'll be fine. All right?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Are you making a move there, or?
Yeah, I think I'm hypnotizing.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Inspirational speech.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Whew.
That's a first.
Navari can help.
Oh yeah, I would totally help.
Whatever.
If he's talking like that, though, I forgot that it's possible.
We're having a good time with the move flipping here.
Yeah.
I want you to believe it so hard that you're hypnotized by Frankie. That you're like,
sure, absolutely.
Frankie is the boss.
Yeah, that is what. Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
I was gonna say anything Smith July does hypnotizes me generally anyway. So it's like.
So I mean, for you then, like, just
you can also ask me to help you, right?
By the way.
Yeah, but if it's
on a fail, the move is flipped. So.
Right. That is what. So let's let it fail here. I'm fine with that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because I'm basically again trying to sell it so hard to you that I sell it to myself. And like,
I love that. Yeah, like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'm not bullshitting.
Frankie,
And we both believe it. We both believe.
Right.
You should follow my lead.
Yep.
God, those are the best kinds of inspirational speeches where just everybody gets pulled up by them.
Yeah. Yeah, you restore all this confidence to me, and then you feel it too. That's so good.
There's a small former Soviet country that the two of you could run together.
Easy, we'll be fine.
Cool. Okay. So now Frankie has, what is it? It's just one hold, or is it?
2. You hold 2 on the same terms.
Okay, great. 2 hold. Hypno on Smith. Cool.
Sweet.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so Gritch, you feel the boat engine kick up to half speed, and it like veers northeast off the course we were on before. I guess we just go all the way there, like expediently. It'd take about an hour maybe to get there.
Yeah.
So like no one goes down and talks to Gritch. We just ride in the cabin.
I mean, you locked the door, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think when you guys come down to get me is when my last little bit ends. But, like, someone comes to the door and I have that moment of like seeing the Minotaur as being like the thing that made me, and I say, "Oh, it's you," and like that's one of you walking in the door. But I like not looking at you. I'm actually looking at something.
Nice.
Cool. Okay.
Who goes to get him? Which of us is there?
Probably me again. I've already gone down once.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea that it's either Smith or Navarre because like Frankie is too torn up to like go do it herself.
Well, I don't know if would the task be to tell you that we're leaving you on an island? It's probably Smith's job then. I would say.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't. If it were me, I would throw you over my shoulder, toss you off the boat with her body, and then we jump back on the boat and run away. So.
I think maybe we all are there, but like Navari and Frankie are like standing back.
Yeah, and I'll step forward.
I'm the muscle behind you.
Delivers the news. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's go to a break, but before that, so yeah, we have that moment where we cut back to Gritch, and you're like, oh, it's you as the door is opening, and it's Smith with like Navari behind looking. Like, we got to do this. And outside behind you, the rain has like really like kicked up, and the boat is like pitching back and forth, and it's like rain is pounding on the deck.
Yeah.
And so there's this ominous moment of like these two figures backlit as they approach the cabin.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right, take a break.
Well, hang on tight, everybody. We will be 5 minutes. We'll throw that timer up in a sec. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.